There was a minute's silence at the National Assembly today honoring 15-year-old Nuran Rizai, who was shot and killed by a Longueuil police officer last Sunday. Since then, there have been renewed calls for Quebec police officers to wear body cams in order to keep them accountable during these interventions. There's an investigation from the BEI, the police watchdog, open after Rizai's death, and the public is now asking for transparency in the investigation. Today, the public security minister said he's not closed to the idea of a public coroner's inquiry if the results of the BEI investigation are not satisfactory. Here to discuss the body cam situation and calls is Paul Chablo, chairman of the Department of Police Technology at John Abbott College, also a former as a retired police officer with the Montreal Police. Paul, thank you for doing this.
How are you, Matt?
I'm good, thanks. On the body cam question, can you sort of give us this sort of state of play here? It's been many years where people have been asking for this. There were pilot projects. Where are we with body cams now?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, it's so tragic what happened in Longueuil with the death of that 15-year-old boy. My heart goes out to the family. My heart also goes out to the police officer because the police officer has to live with the fact that they took away a human life. The investigation will tell us if it's justified or not. But there should be body cams in all major police forces already. We've been training our police cadets or our students with body cams for over 5 years now. So all students from John Abbott College who are hired either in the Sûreté du Québec or the municipal police forces such as Montreal and Longueuil, they all have training with body cams. And it's a wonderful tool. It not only gives proper accountability, but it also gives credibility to the officers.
So what is the holdup? Why aren't cities adopting this?
Money. You'd have to ask the politicians. I think this is a great timing. It's an election year for the municipal, elections for mayor and councillors. It's definitely a question of money. The cameras are not expensive. They're actually reasonably priced. There's a storage fee because, the evidence has to be properly stored when it's used in court, and the evidence has to be handled by civilians to ensure transparency and, no tampering.
Is there pushback from the police unions, the Brotherhood there? Because, there's more to this than just the politicians with the money.
To my knowledge, I know the president of the union very well. They are not closed to the idea. I've never heard them object to the body cams. It's common use in Toronto, in a lot of places in Ontario, especially the OPP as well. We use the Axon product, which is a very efficient product, and that's the product that's probably the mostly, used product in North America.
I want to ask, I'm speaking with Paul Chablo, by the way, the head of the police tech at John Abbott College about police body cameras in the wake of the shooting death of Nuran Rizai. I want to ask you about sort of what the public's expectation should be in a situation like this, in your mind.
Well, times have changed. Everybody has a phone. Everybody has a camera. There's a lot of pressure on the police now that, for different types of interventions that didn't exist before. Example, one clear one is mental health. A lot of times in a lot of police forces, over 70% of their calls are mental health. So it's normal that the public wants the police to be accountable. And the best way for accountability and credibility is body cams. Because don't forget, not only, will the public have the true story, but the police officer's credibility and honesty will come forward and, it'll help the image of any police force.
It's now been 11 days, and I know that, you can't necessarily comment on the specific investigation because you're not a part of it. But how long do you think it should take before the public can actually hear from the BEI on where this is heading, whether there's going to be criminal charges or not?
Well, first of all, it depends how many witnesses they have to interview, how many police officers were involved. So it could take anywhere from weeks to months to even longer. I mean, it all depends. I think I'd be very safe to say that they want to get it as soon as possible. The community that was involved in that handled this with such great class and honor, considering the circumstances. They lost a young member of their community. They've handled it with grace. But at the same time, the BI is investigating, So I think that there's going to be a more rapid response or outcome. But we have to be careful because there's a huge misconception of police use of force. The public doesn't know how police use of force. You can arrive on a call and right away have to use your firearm, and that's the highest level of force a police officer will use. Now, I'm not saying it's the case involving this in Longueuil, but what I'm saying is that police communications divisions all across the country should be continuously sensitizing the media and the public on how the use of force works. We did that when I used to work in Montreal, and I haven't seen that recently. And I think that would help if the public understood police use of force. That's not what you see on television.
So explain. What should we know?
Pardon me?
Explain. What should we know?
Well, first of all, the use of force starts at different levels. It starts at the presence of a police officer. The second one could be a command that the officer gives. That's force. Okay, they can give an order, but they could also make a request at the same time, order, and they can intervene when the order is refused. They have intermediate weapons, such as their PR-24, or they might have a baton or pepper spray, and of course the last level of force, would be the firearm. So it can escalate from a question of minutes, from a question of seconds, or even longer. So it's not as easy or cut and dry as people would think. And no police officer is going to wake up in the morning, with the expectation to take away a human life.
How are you addressing this with the students at the police academy right now?
Well, we're not really addressing it because we don't know what happened. See, I understand that it's a police investigation, and police investigation, for reasons of evidence and proof, must be confidential. But there should be a regular update with the public just the same on the advancement. Good public relations will keep the population more calm and, give more credibility to the police.
Were you surprised when they came out the day after the incident and held a press conference, the BEI? I don't remember ever seeing anything like that before.
No, they had to. Under the circumstances, a young child was killed. The circumstances were unknown. They had to ensure that this was going to be a transparent investigation. They did well, and the community responded, like I said, in a very classy and graceful manner under the circumstances.
Do you think as time goes on, they're going to need to come and do another update because patience is going to start wearing thin, I would think.
They should. With today's media and social media, all the media that exists, there's no better way than to communicate to the public now. I mean, everybody has a phone. It's really easy to get, to receive updates on an event, and that would be in their best interest to do so.
All right. Paul Chablo, thanks very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Have a good day.
The biggest songs in the world. You've heard them countless times. Now, learn the details of how they came to be. Join Ruby Carr for Encore, the stories behind the songs you love. New interviews and newly unearthed archive footage make for a fascinating weekly deep dive. Stream Encore, the stories behind the songs you love on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.